Tes and Ois Mem Zayin, the bottom section of that page. And the focus of this section is from the Pardes. And the Pardes says that mochin of Chochmah and Bina although that we have explained that mochin are le'atzmei, are to himself, not for dissemination, so to speak, but really mochin also are for the sake of the world and sake for others. That kind of contradicts the principle that we discussed quite deeply. And for this, the Rebbe begins to explain that the mochin are for the Zulus. What is the contribution of mochin for midas? Midas are what is for the Zulus. Is what we relate with the outside world. But mochin have a very major, important contribution in this. That is that mochin brings the inner pnimiut to the midas. This is what we have been going around in circles trying to understand, this principle, the principle of pnimi in general, and how mochin are principally related to pnimi, whereas midas are principally related to makif, and mochin effect on the midas is the union of pnimi. So we are a little bit into that choice. We are several lines down that where the parenthesis begins. About 5-6 lines on the bottom from the top of the Pardes. But let's now just review what we learned.
Line starts how?
I'm sorry?
How does the line start?
Oh, the line starts shê-yi-h'yu b'bchinas pnimi.
Got it.
Mochin affect the midas, that the midas should be in a bechina of pnimi. And what does that mean? Oir, in general, we've already discussed it many times. Oir is an allusion or the impact of the etzem, of the real thing. Like we say in a simple example, I just want to bring it in. There is a home, there's a house, and in the house there is the owner of the house, and that makes it into a home. And when you enter this home, once it's owned by the owner and becomes a home, the house aspect totally vanishes in the background. It's not a house in the world. It is something representing the owner. How do you present the owner? The owner sits in that little corner. But the owner's presence is felt throughout this entire edifice. And no matter how large that edifice would be, his presence is felt there, recognized there. And we treat the house with deference. We want to keep it clean. We don't disturb things in there, not because of the house or the physical of the physical structure, but because there is an owner there. And in deference of the person of the owner, we treat it appropriately. But the owner, I said, the owner is sitting someplace in his little room. We don't even see him. What affects the whole house from the owner? This is called his oir. How does it affect it? How does it come out? And for this we explained. This human being who owns his house, what is the principal presence of a human being? Is it his physical structure, his physical makeup? Better still, is it his knowledge and talent? The human being was created by God individually. The Gemara says, all the animals were created, let it be animals. Who knows how many animals were created in that one utterance? All the Mauritian, the human being was created one person. And from him developed the whole world. Because one person is Olam Moli. Is a complete world. Not only because from him developed can come a whole world, from the animals also Havdil can come millions. But he stands for, he has the significance of Olam Moli, of a whole complete world. And as we point out, everybody responded, so to speak, with cognizance of this, that if the creation of the world would stop at day 5, and day 6 is when Adam Rishon was created. After day 5, everything in the world, all the functional aspects of the world were already in place. The oceans and the rivers, and the vegetations, and the animals, and the fish, and the birds. How do? No human being. What would the world be then at that stage? If the world would stop, the creation would stop at that point. So I could say I'm going into a pit because I had one time somebody say to me, "Oh, it may be better. There'll be no human being. This is the modern thinking. The human being to contaminate the world, to soil it. Like this, the rivers and everything and the oceans will be in their pristine state. They will not be polluted, no pollution." But everybody recognizes a world without a human being, as big as it is, and with this one single human being, transforms this into a real world. This everybody senses. The most important thing to me is that we sense this, because this is the inner wisdom that we have. We can discuss it and say why this is and explain and so on, but everybody has to have that inner wisdom. The significance of life, the significance of the human being. Just to elaborate on this, the human being represents the divine presence. Why was the world created? He is the only one who is aware that there is a creator. The others only know of their being, of their own experience. The union of this world is that in the world there should be revelation and an effect of the creator. As we learned, and we're still going to do, Ano Emlich, The whole creation is no emlech. That Hashem said, no emlech, I want to be king. That means that he'll be cognizant of the king, cognizant of the creator. And who recognizes that? Only Odom. Hopefully.
So he recognizes that it's a home, not a house. That the world is a home.
He makes the house into a home. Which means that as soon as a human being, as a person, looks at the house in his mind is fully equipped for human activity. It takes time to develop it, but that's what he has that's what a house is about.
No, I mean to say like that he recognizes if a person comes in, he recognizes that he senses the oil of the balbus of the house. So the human being is sensing the balbus of the world, that the world has.
Oh yeah, okay.
What? The babus?
Balabus.
Balabus,
Balabas.
Baal,
The owner.
the boss.
the boss, the owner. We started saying the last time, and I didn't complete it, and I want to add another notch to this. We said, I think the last time, that the Beishas Baruch is the Shemayim v'the Oretz. That initially God created the Shemayim and the Oretz. Oretz is where everything takes place, everything happens. The Shemayim, the heavens, they stay in their place. The Oretz is constantly changing. The Oretz can be contaminated, can be dirty, it can be cleaned, it can be restructured and so forth. Shemayim are stay in their purity as they were initially created, without any ill effect possible. It's the purest thing. The reason that the Shemayim represent this purity is that the Shemayim actually represent that which is higher in the world. Shemayim represent the Creator. That's why it says Yira Shemayim. It's important to recognize the presence of the Shemayim. In order to recognize that whatever we do on Oretz, from orderliness and cleanliness, and we say Abraham, all the things, these kosher, all of these things is for the sake of the Shemayim, so that the Shemayim will be able to tolerate this Oretz. Why is Shemayim so pure? Because Shemayim are representing the Creator, Shemayim are constantly rejuvenated. They always represent the creation that the Creator creates.
Why do we say they?
Huh?
Why do we say they?
Shemayim is Lashon Rabbi.
The world is also representing him, but in a more obscured way.
The world represents his koyach. The Shemayim represents his presence.
Why is it Lashon Rabbim? Or it's not the time?
It's not the time.
Heaven is his presence, earth is his koyach.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like we say, a melech. A melech, the whole creation is because Ano Emlich, because Hashem decided Ano Emlich. In this thing, Ano Emlich, there are two distinct effects. Ano Emlich means his presence is going to be in the world. And Ano Emlich means that the world will conduct its affairs according to his will. And this is the principle of oil. There is the presence of the Melech as a result of the Melech's oil, which means the aura, the effect of his presence is throughout the entire creation. I said the other day, not here, but elsewhere, in the Zohar, the expression in Zohar is that he encompasses everything, and none ventures from his reshus, from his domain, out. None can venture outside of his domain. Mirshusei. Reshus, the term reshus, in our term, now reshus means ownership. And this is translated, this is reflected in our world also as a result of Torah, as also the creation. Ownership is a very interesting phenomenon. Really, it is phenomenal. A person owns an object. That ownership does not in any which way affect the object. It doesn't change in anything. It's exactly the object as it was before he owned it. But once he owns it, no matter where the object is, he remains its owner. To the extent that if he lost the object, he doesn't even know where it is. And you find it in the street someplace. You find it in the garbage. You're obligated to take it out and return it to him. Get up and then take it. Because it remains his no matter where it is.
What's up? The object is unchanged, but it's forever.
The object is unchanged, but there is some kind of a intangible element in this ownership that it cannot be severed unless he gives it up.
And what this point is bringing out,
that this is something which is an intangible truth. It's oyer, because he has the ability to own. He has a real right of ownership. So that's why he has this. That's why there is such a thing. And it cannot be severed from him unless, as I said, he gives it up. He doesn't know where it is. And you're obligated to locate him and says, hey, I think this is yours. And there's whole halachas about that if you find something, you have to return it to him. You have to try to return the object itself, and you have to guard it. You have to shvorim. You have to open up. You have to leaf through so that they don't become tarnished or whatever it is. I'll give him the $1,000 and forget about it. Okay. This is called oir. This is the reality of the person. Only a human being in this world has that quality. And this is oir pnimi. Pnimi means that he actually relates to it. A human being appreciates what it means to have a home. And when a human being does not have a home, he lacks it. I always point out, I just want to completely point out a very interesting thing, that the person should have a cushion mattress. Everybody knows what cushion mattress is? Who has not yet been contaminated? You know what cushion mattress is?
Sounds uncomfortable.
Huh?
Doesn't sound comfortable.
A cushion mattress means a double mattress.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's to climb. You have to climb up. You have to use a ladder to get up.
Golden ladder.
So if you have a cushion mattress in a hotel room, the rest you get from that is not comparable to the rest you have on a cot in your own home. A cot is an army. It's an army
Right.
life. Because a home, this is it gives a person a sense of reality. He really belongs there. He really has a full rest. He relates to the place where he is. This is what a human being is. This is called oy pnimi. This is due to the mochin. This is due to the mochin aspect of the human being.
I just wanted to go back. When a person is yiyush, he lost hope to find it, and then somebody finds it and returns it to him. Does he re-become the owner?
No, that's it. Once he's miyayish, he does not have to return the object. He can pay him the loss, the monetary value, but the object is no longer his.
So, what does pnimi become there?
He gave it up.
It vanished.
He can give it up, sure.
You could return it to him and help.
You can return, but that's he's not obligated.
Right.
I'm confused with panini because last week we learned other things about panini, that this is what makes it true. Now we said panini.
There is different, and we're going to come to it. There's pnimi, the way it is reflected in midos, and pnimi, the way it is reflected in the mochin. There's two different aspects of pnimi.
But why is it called pnimi when I'm able to relate to it? Because it's internal, I feel it,
There are two aspects of pnimi, as I said. There's pnimi of the object, pnimi in the person. Two different aspects of pnimi. Midos touch the person by pnimius. But as far as the object itself, it's a chitzenius. Mochin is the opposite. Mochin relates to the pnimius of the object. But the effect on the person is b'makim. He knows about it.
just understand what's definition of pnimi per se.
Okay. we can. The word pnimi means internal. Pnimi means internal. I don't know. We have to find it in our own intellect. Let me just try to give it some handle on it. You build a house with the intent that it should be your home. When you build this house, there is the external structure, the infrastructure, the external building, and then you have floors and ceilings and walls, demarcating different rooms. Now, why do you have demarcation of different rooms? Each room has its own definition. This definition of each room, it's a dining room, living room, is a projection of what's going to go into these rooms. The walls don't make it what it is. The walls don't make the bedroom or a dining room. It's the table and the chairs and the bed that makes it into a bedroom. That's a pnimi. You say the walls demarcate. That doesn't make it into anything.
But isn't it first?
One second. A human being, an intelligent human being, when he goes into a house that has demarcation of walls, that says, this is suitable for a bedroom. This is a bedroom. This is not a bedroom. There's nothing there. But he immediately recognizes what this room is suited for. This is the pnimi. He sees the pnimius of it. And when you build a house and you're going to make rooms suitable for various functions, for dining room, you will build them in such a way that they are suitable for these functions, to accommodate the furnishings that go into a dining room and living room.
Here you said two different things, one after the other. First you said there's rooms and ceilings.
Excuse me. I have no apologies. The Rebbe says in 2 lines, 2 opposite things. So I'm also allowed.
It's not opposite. It's not opposite. It's one after
Go ahead,
the other.
yeah.
You said the room is determined by what's going to be put in it later, and then the room is determined by the intent of the owner to make it that kind of room. So it's 2 different approaches of the same. You said first furniture, and then second you said intent of the owner.
Do you see that are 2 separate things?
Yes.
1 and 2 different things.
The-
When you want to make, you intend to make a dining room. What do you have in mind?
Just-
4 walls?
It's an intention to have a dining room in that place, but without considering which furniture are going to be there.
No, which dining room furniture? You don't know who's going to manufacture and furniture. Well, dining room furniture is not going to be a bedroom furniture.
Furniture is the next step after the intent.
No, but you're too much pnimi. What company in furniture am I going to buy? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what is the design, what kind of furniture are you going to have that serves this particular service.
It's part of it.
Makes no difference who manufactures it. Maybe I'll just hire a cabinet maker, a craftsman, to make me a dining room.
Bring him in. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? This is it's about. I understand what the confusion is.
It's not a confusion. We're talking about 2 different steps.
In factual, in development, they come in 2 different steps. But in concept, they're not 2 different steps. In concept, before you would say this is going to be a dining room, you already project dining room furniture.
Can you say that mochin is a theoretical pnimi versus midas that is a realistic pnimi?
That's effectively this is what the Rebbe says. Midas actually experience what they have. Mochin projected. But what is mochin projected? A reality, a pnimi value.
What I'm trying to figure out is mochin the designation by the owner of this room being a dining room, and midas the actual act of putting furniture in there.
I hear what you're saying. I don't know if that is a correct demarcation, but there's definitely truth to this. But what brings about that you should actually put the furniture in there? It is because it was originally designated for that purpose. This is what I'm saying. The human being, he feels comfortable only if things are in place where they belong, not where you put them. You have a dining room table in the middle of the street. Doesn't give him a sense of a dining room. All right, so we have now furnished the whole house. All right, so we'll start from the parentheses, and hopefully we'll go a little further. The line begins, shê-yi-h'yu pnimi. This is like 6 lines from the beginning of this Oif Mamzai. That which is written elsewhere, the yikar ha'pnimi hen ha'midos, the opposite, that the principle of the pnimi is in the midos. In this case, the word pnimi means something completely different. Pnimi means how you are affected by it. And I'm going to introduce a subject that we're going to go, but I just want to introduce a very simple thing. You learned in Cheder that when you see somebody who is lacking clothes, you give him clothes. Somebody is hungry, you give him food. You see somebody who is hungry, he don't even know. He says, "I'm hungry." You're hungry? Okay, let me take a look. I know what I'm supposed to do when you're hungry. I'm supposed to give you food. You have no pnimi, you have no sense of what you're doing. You don't really connect to him. This is inside mochin. It's possible. Midos is in a direct connect. He feels his pain. He feels his hunger. And you will do everything to alleviate that pain. That's what Midas is pnimi. It actually relates to what it is doing, personally.
I thought Midas always relate to the person himself, that it takes seichel to have empathy relating to, with feeling to someone else.
No. Seichel can identify it, but the feel is in the Midas.
And it requires that element of seichel to...
Yes, seichel gives the pnimi element into the Midas, but it is the Midas, the pnimi definition. But that's what we're saying here, the opposite. Because the pnimi is a Midas. The mochin beginners makiv adayin. Mochin are still a makiv. Makiv means an overall recognition. Hine sham. Okay, let's get into this. Hine, how behold, sham hakavon over there. When we discuss this venue. Excuse me. The kavona, the intent and the allusion is being hatfisa v'yislapshus. Talking about the tfisa v'yislapshus, how much invested he is into this, how much he is grasped by it, how much you can define him by this phenomenon. There's a story. The Rebbe once mentioned it in Fabrengen. There was a Chassidim were Fabrengen the whole night, in time of the Tsar. And in the middle of the night they went and they were singing, from Fabrengen was singing. And the police officer in the Tsar's time, and then by the communists in Letman, everybody feared them. So a policeman is accosting this group of Chassidim who were all over, they're screaming all over the place. So, Kto idiot? Kto idiot means who is going there? Who is walking? Identify yourself. Kto idiot? So the Chassid answered, Beetle idiot. Idiot means walking. Who is walking? Beetle. Beetle is walking. Because if I bring an Indian from Beetle, it says Beetle idiot. This is Mitzad Midas. Yes.
You just said that makar means the overall. I'm used to knowing that a Muslim, makar means like in a house that you're surrounded with it. Is it this? Does it go together with that? Or
Yes, he goes together with.
means being surrounded with it?
Okay. So the house generally demarcates your place relative to the whole world. But this is not all that it does for you. The meaning of the house for you is not just to be served, but it also gives you an abode, something identifies with you, a dining room and a living room. That is more pnimi. That identifies with your function, not just separating you from the rest of the world.